we bring in now Senator Ron Johnson of the great state of Wisconsin. I'll let you react to the Fed move if you have a strong take one way or the other. But I want to start with two polls came out today of Wisconsin. Each of them showed 1% leads for Kamala Harris, well within the margin of error. What are you seeing on the ground? You've won several close elections in that state. You know it better than almost anyone. How would you assess the status of the race about 45 days out?
Well, it's going to be close. We've always known that it'll be close. But what I can tell you is that, in Wisconsin, we are doing what needs to be done in terms of ground game. We're encouraging all of our voters to get out and vote early. As soon as you mail in your absentee ballots or take them to a clerk's office, do so that you can spend the rest of the time between you voting and the election getting other people to vote early. Bank those votes so that on election day, all of our get out the vote effort is going to be targeted toward the low propensity voter who will, in the end, decide the election. So again, we've got the right strategy. We're implementing it. I think we've got resources to do it. Got a lot of good people who've been chipping in on that. So we're doing what needs to be done, focusing really on the ground game.
Senator Johnson, appreciate you being with us. I'm interested to see how this plays out. We were talking about the border a lot in the last hour, and as I understand it, you have an effort by Senator Britt to try to pass bills through unanimous consent to get Democrats on the record for not wanting money, billions of dollars to build the wall, and also not wanting to detain migrants. What can you tell us about this? And also the second bill, which they're calling the Laken-Riley Act.
Yeah, I mean, we do that all the time. Either amendments or you do unanimous consent requests of things that most Americans feel are common sense, and of course the Democrats always block it. They do the same thing to us. I mean, that was what the bill on IVF was about yesterday. I don't know Republican senators against IVF. I have 2 grandchildren because of IVF, so we support it, but they always put poison pills in it. We actually are straight up with our bills. We just say, let's complete the fence. Let's build the wall. Let's end illegal immigration. Let's give the president greater authority. They block all those things. Let's deport criminals, and they block it. So, that's what we do here. It's good messaging, probably on both sides, but in the end, it doesn't become law.
What's the impact of Tim Walz in your impressions? You're a lifelong Midwesterner. I just got to go hang out at the Alabama-Wisconsin game. My wife's from Michigan. Tim Walz doesn't, to me, feel like a guy that connects very well with the average beer-drinking football fan across the country, guys that I feel like I know really well. What do you think? They brought him in with the idea being, he's going to help solidify the Midwest. Is it working? How are you thinking people are finding him in your home state?
Well, if the press were honest and talked about Tim Walz's record, he'd be a net negative, and probably a pretty significant net negative, but they're not talking about him honestly. The bottom line, I don't think he has any impact whatsoever. Again, we're really not running against Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. We're running against the mainstream media. Now, check that. Legacy corporate media. There's nothing mainstream about the radical leftists in the legacy media. So they're the ones that are covering up for Kamala Harris's lies. They're the reason, by the way, she could be coached and prepared for that debate to smoothly spew lie after lie after lie, because she could be confident that the media, the moderators, weren't going to call her on it, wouldn't hold her accountable. Federalist had a great article, 25 lies she told, very well documented. So again, it's not a level playing field. It's not a fair fight. We're up against the media. We're up against our education system. We're up against all the radical leftists in all our institutions.
Senator Johnson, we've been discussing it a lot since Sunday for obvious reasons. Security of President Trump. I mean, in your role in the Senate, you clearly have oversight. There's an oversight component that the Senate has when it comes to federal agencies. And it just seems like I think, I don't know who would disagree with this, there's been deplorable lapses in security around President Trump. Is there any sense that you have that now it will be taken seriously enough, or that there'll be a greater effort among the executive security agencies to Secret Service, obviously, DHS, top of the heap, to do what is necessary? Because it starts to feel like if we get to a third attempt on President Trump, the wheels are going to start to come off the bus here with people believing this election's on the up and up.
Well, it's Acting Director Rowe claiming what happened in West Palm Beach was a smashing success. It's kind of hard to think they're going to take it more seriously. By the way, let me quick dispel the notion that they need more resources. Over the last 10 years, they've increased the number of agents by 32%, went from 6,300 to 8,300, 2,000 additional people. Their budget went up 65%, from $2 billion to $3.3 billion. They're part of a agency or a department, DHS, $190 billion budget with 240,000 employees who they can detail to, take care of the surgeons in terms of protection. So they've got plenty of resources. That's not the problem. The problem is management. It's not the guys on the ground that are throwing their bodies in front of President Trump. These are heroes. These people we should celebrate. It is a rot at the top. And I don't know if it was Cheadle with DEI. I'm not sure it was Acting Director Rowe. We're not getting the straight answer out of him. They're not cooperating with our investigation. They're going through the motions. They come up and brief us, tell us nothing. They're not giving us the documents. We still haven't gotten one transcript from the FBI's over 1,000 interviews, even though the deputy director told me they'd get those to me as soon as possible. We've been given access to 12 people to interview. We still haven't talked to the sniper who took out Crooks. So again, there's so many basic questions that haven't been answered. You have to scratch your head and go, why? Why are they being so opaque? Why aren't they cooperating?
Okay, I'm fired up about this, and I know you are because you've called in talking about the FBI's lack of transparency and, in fact, the fact that they have been very dishonest with you in the briefings that they gave you surrounding the Hunter Biden laptop, all of this. Let me ask you this. How in the world can we trust the FBI, which is trying to put Donald Trump in prison for the rest of his life, and which we know rigged the 2020 election by not saying clearly that they believe the Hunter Biden laptop was real, right? In fact, the opposite. How can we trust them to conduct a fair, impartial, and honest investigation of the two Trump assassinations when the same agency is trying to put Trump in prison for the rest of his life? It's an untenable conflict to me, and I hear almost no one talking about it. You've got to be fired up about this.
Yeah, we can't trust them. What we need the agents on the ground, people who are patriots. They need to come forward and tell us the truth. We need whistleblowers. And we're not getting very many of them because they destroy the careers of whistleblowers. Even though we have all these whistleblower protection laws, they aren't followed. Okay, so these guys roll over. They destroy whistleblowers with impunity. So, look at how they cleaned up the crime scene. They rolled that sucker up in no time. They've cremated the body. I haven't seen an autopsy. I haven't seen the toxicology reports. Again, so, it's not standard operating procedure to hold on to the body. Well, this isn't a standard, normal time. This is an assassination attempt on a former president, our candidate for presidency. So no, you cannot trust them. Right now, you've got this, the new assassin, right, out of Ukraine. You know that CIA has to have a file on this guy, probably a pretty extensive file. So does the FBI. So does CBP now. They were made well aware of this guy. They interviewed him. HSI, Homeland Security Investigations, declined to interview him further. Do you think CIA is going to turn over those files? If there's something incriminating in terms of them maybe working with this guy, you think they're going to turn that over to us? By the way, do you think even if Trump gets elected and he tells the CIA to turn over all the information on JFK, do you think we'll actually get the full file? No, I don't trust these guys at all.
Yeah.
It is amazing. The fourth branch of government is obviously the unelected bureaucracy. How would, if you were, there's been some discussion, Senator Johnson, of maybe Elon Musk being on a government waste task force, which gets a lot of us excited, whether we like, Teslas or not. We just think Elon's amazing and this would be phenomenal. Do you think it's really possible, though, for a Trump administration, let's say we have Senate control, which is looking good, but let's just say we have Senate control, keep the House, and Trump is in office. Can the swamp really be drained, or are we just hoping that it doesn't keep growing?
First of all, I would love Elon Musk to be the efficiency czar. Look what he did with Twitter. But he got rid of 75-80% of the personnel. Twitter's up and running just fine, isn't it? Okay, you could take that same type of approach to probably every agency in the federal government, and by the way, including defense. Look at what he's doing in terms of firing rockets into space at a fraction of the cost of bureaucratic NASA. So I would love that. What's going to take is going to take leadership in Congress. And by the way, from my standpoint, I think Rick Scott would be the could be the majority leader in the Senate that would actually cooperate to do that and not frustrate a Donald Trump's efforts or Elon Musk's efforts. So, no, I'm looking forward to that. I mean, I'm jazzed about Trump winning, Bobby Kennedy handling chronic illness, Elon Musk looking at these agencies and making them efficient, because that's what we have to do. You have to shrink the size of the federal government. You have to devolve governing authority back to the states, back to the city. That's the long-term program. And we better get going on it, because government right now only ratchets in one direction. It just keeps growing. And as government grows, our freedoms recede. It's in direct proportion. More Americans need to understand that, and we need to vote for Donald Trump and get Elon Musk in there cleaning house.
All right, I want you to close with this. You mentioned that it's important for people to get their votes in early. Wisconsin was decided by 20,000 votes in 2020. Might well hold the fate of the Senate and the presidency in its hand, all of those Wisconsinites up there. Make the case for why people should vote early and what the benefit is for that if they are big Trump Hubdy supporters out there.
Trump's first rally, and I flew up with him, that's why I gave him the chart, was in April of 2024, and it ended up being about 3 or 4 inches of driving sleet. It was a miserable day. Almost didn't land because they need to get in and out. So that could happen in November. So we can't have all of our votes, expect those things to be cast on election day. We need to bank them ahead of time. But even more important, we spend a lot of money calling people that haven't voted yet, because you got those records. They're very, we can follow up. We don't want to spend money calling people that are going to vote anyway. We want to spend all of our get up the vote effort on the low propensity voters who will decide the election. So bank your vote, bank it early. Once you've banked yours, get other people to bank their vote, and then on election day, hopefully we're hundreds of thousands of votes ahead of Democrats, and we win easily. That's my hope. That's my prayer.
Senator Ron Johnson, we're hoping to celebrate with you sometime in the new year, the big victory this fall, with some brats, some cheese curds, and gluten-free beer. Thanks for being with us, Senator Johnson. Always appreciate it.
It's brats, by the way, brats.
Sorry.
Thank you for correcting that.
Sorry. Brats. There we go. We'll have some brats. Senator Johnson, everybody. Thank you. I was so close, Clay. You know what I mean?
It's rare that you mispronounce a word. Usually it's me mispronouncing everything out here.
I was excited about my beloved Wisconsin Wolverines. So, there's that. You're gonna leave? You're gonna let me do that? Really? You're just gonna say nothing? Nothing? All right, whatever.
I mean, you've adopted every team at this point. So
wait, Wisconsin's the Badgers.
Yes, right. The Wolverines is Michigan.
Whatever. Close enough. I love you, Michigan, and I love Wisconsin.
Now you're alienating people.
I know. Now I'm pulling a Hillary Clinton where no team's fans are gonna like me. She's
That's
like,
right.
Oh, I love the Yankees and the Red Sox. That's Hillary Clinton, in case you don't know. There's no way to say it, my friends, better than this. In these uncertain times, having immediate communication capabilities is crucial. If you haven't heard about Rapid Radios, one of our new sponsors, pay attention. They manufacture modern-day walkie-talkies and are easier to use than making a cell phone call. Rapid Radio's walkie-talkies deliver instant connections when crisis hits. These push-to-talk devices have a one-button function that allows you to communicate with your family wherever they are. They could be hundreds of miles away, if not more. With the threat of cyber attacks on our infrastructure and the number of weather-driven outages that we've all seen, you can rely on Rapid Radios to provide communication instantaneously nationwide. Rapid Radios are perfect in an emergency, by the way. They hold the charge for up to 5 days, and there's no subscription or monthly fee. Rapid Radios is a 100% American-owned business with everything made in the USA. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com, get up to 60% off. There's free UPS shipping and a free protection bag. Use code RADIO and get an extra 5% off.